This has 30 grams of protein and this also has 30 grams of protein. But for some reason, your body doesn't absorb it the same way. In this video, I'm actually telling why not all protein are equal and how you can choose your protein sources to actually start building more muscle and more recovery. So let's dive right into it. First things first, we need to really know what are proteins. Proteins are in fact a chain of amino acids. Yeah, good David, but what is amino acids? I mean, it's even more unclear. Well, you could imagine that amino acids are building blocks. Just put that in your head. Amino acids are small building blocks to build the protein. Now we know proteins are equal to a chain of amino acids. In total, there exists a lot of amino acids, around 140, 144, but there are only 20 to 22 that really lives in our body. There are 9 amino acids that's called the essentials amino acids, the essentials, the building block. Why the essentials one? You would say because there's the foundation of everything. Well, it's more because your body doesn't create them. So 9 of them listed here are not created by your body. You need to get them from other food sources like chicken, eggs, whey protein, a lot of food sources that exist, animal food sources for example, and some plant food sources that has all those 9 essential amino acids. All together, they build the protein. How does everything work? Well, you eat your chicken breast, super delicious, and it gets into your digestion. Your digestion starts to break everything down. And then it comes to an individual amino acid. Those 20 or 22 that we were talking about, you get that there. There's a long process before getting to that individual, but we're keeping it brief. And from there, they start recreating protein and in fact building your muscles, your body tissues, and even more, helping to build enzymes and hormones. What happens if you miss one of those essentials amino acids? Well, that happens a lot, but don't worry about that. The other day, one of my clients sent me a picture of his dinner. You saw lentils, sweet potatoes, and vegetables. Technically an amazing meal. Super good. The picture was even super beautiful. I got super hungry about that. But I told him that he was missing some protein. And he was like, but David, lentils has a protein. And yeah, technically he's correct. I should have been more clear. Remember at the beginning of the video, I told you these 30 grams of protein are not the same as these 30 grams of protein? You know the reason? Well, I'll explain it to you. These 30 grams of protein have not the 9 essential amino acids that we need and that we have here. You remember that I was talking about there are 9 essentials amino acids that are not created by your body. Those we need to take from food sources. And the lentils has protein, that's true, but they do not have all the 9 essentials amino acids. Now that we know that, we start understanding why not all proteins are equal. There is another term that you might have heard here and there, bioavailability of nutrients. And in this case, we are talking about protein. So what is the bioavailability of protein? It means how much protein and how fast protein is absorbed into your body. So if we're talking about a specific food source, like for example chicken breast, that's highly bioavailable. Why is that? Because the amount of protein you're getting into your body and how fast it's absorbed in your body, it's quick. There is much. The bioavailability of that is very high. Compared to, for example, again, the lentils, where it's a lot slower and you're not getting all the proteins from the lentils. There are 2 main reasons why a food source has a high bioavailability. The first reason, we already tackled that, is about having all the essentials amino acids. So we call that a complete protein source. If it doesn't have all the 9 essentials amino acids, it's an incomplete. That's number 1. That's one of the main reasons. The second main reason, it's because something called anti-nutrients. As the word says, it's anti that specific nutrients, in this case the protein. So it goes against that protein process creation. We know that it goes to your whole body, it breaks down and your body reconstructs, rebuilds with amino acids, but those anti-nutrients are blocking or slowing down the whole process. Some food sources have that anti-nutrients, like the lentils. That's 2 main reasons why something would have a high bioavailability or not. A good examples of protein sources that has a high bioavailability are chicken breast, beef, eggs, and whey protein. Those 2 are the top of the top. A lot of protein, all the amino acids, and absorbed super quick. I don't know if you have heard that, but in any case, whey protein is a very high bioavailability and it's not killing you. The process of creating protein is maybe something we could tackle in another video. So definitely like and subscribe to see that video coming up. I've been using the lentils as an example to shoot it as a bad protein source. But it doesn't mean we need to cut them completely out of our diet. It has fiber, it has carbohydrate, it gets good fats and still some protein, yeah? Well, we don't need to remove them. We just need to know how to place them, how to balance them out over our meals. As I said before, the lentils doesn't have all the 9 essentials amino acids. That happens with rice, that happens with spinach, that happens with a lot of plant-based protein sources. Not all of them, but most of them. If we're talking about lentils and rice, this is the perfect example of combination to reach those 9 amino acids. And it doesn't need to be in one meal. You can spread it out throughout your whole day. If, for example, at the beginning of your day, you are eating rice and at the end of the day, you're eating lentils, guess what? Your body is taking all those amino acids and then combining them. And from both meals, you're getting the 9 essential amino acids. So the only problem about those is using them as your only protein source. But again, they are more than that. They give you a little bit of protein and they give you a lot of other nutrients which we need to be healthy. So in other words, it's not about cutting protein sources, it's about learning how to combine all the protein sources to make the most of them, to create more muscle, to create more recovery, because as I said, the proteins helps you build muscle, helps you build tissue and even repair all of those, builds enzymes and builds hormones, which helps you in the whole process of building muscle and recovery, which is what we are looking for when we're working out so much. All right, so it's not about cutting out plant protein sources, but rather acknowledging and understanding where and what type of protein am I eating and what do I need to balance everything out. Because as I said before, those lentils or the rice doesn't only have protein, it has carbs, fats that we need to reconstruct and build our body to be as healthy as possible and continue training as we like. And now that you know a little bit more about protein, I hope you have a better understanding on how you can reach those protein goals just better. So with that said, I hope you got a clearer picture about the baseline of protein because there is a lot more. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you like this type of video, don't forget to like and subscribe because I would love to make more videos about it. So with that said, let's get jacked together.